there are so many things you can apply to your own career, things you can apply to your own life, and you learn them from other people. And I can't wait to tell you what I learned from Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa, because they both were able to give me a even greater perspective on even my own career. And I can't wait to share that with you. In addition, you're going to hear what my interview with Jay-Z would sound like. So you have to listen to this episode.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarret Patton.
Welcome to episode number 170 of License to Live. My name is Dr. Jarret Patton, and I'm your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to License to Live. And while you're there, please rate this episode and give me honest feedback so I make sure I provide you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And hey, this episode is jam-packed with gems, and you're going to hear them from some of the best celebrities out there. So hold on to your seat, grab yourself a cup of water, and let's go. Right after we finish thanking our sponsors. Hey, this is Dr. Jarret Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, License to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. License to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarret on License to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey. Let's go.
When I started this podcast years ago, back in 2018, it was really before artificial intelligence came out there. It was before you could just pull up something and let it go. And I thought it would be a really neat way to open the show with some celebrity drops, maybe have some celebrity interviews as I would build the show. And well, obviously I have done that in this show with a number of celebrities and VIPs who have come into the studio and had this type of interview with me. But there was one in particular with Jay-Z, and you guys probably remember me writing a blog about Jay-Z. Kevin MD featured it on his blog because it got a lot of people thinking. And when I got to see Jay-Z and Beyonce perform a few years ago, I learned a lot of takes from it. But Jay-Z is one of those stories who just started off like a regular kid, like so many people, but something changed along his life. And he went through a number of changes and reiterations of his own career that made him a super successful billionaire icon. And that is pretty awesome because that level of success doesn't really add up to most people when they get started on their career and they get started doing things. So I always wanted to get an interview with Jay-Z. And I said, well, Jay-Z's not going to know who Dr. Jarret is. He's not going to know anything I do. He's too busy living, in the south of France or wherever he and his wife and family decide to go. And I may never get this opportunity. However, I took this opportunity to get with a voice actor who could help conduct the interview for me. So after I learned about trademarks, copyrights, I even had my own bounces with people trying to infringe on my federal trademarks. I mean, I get it. And in showbiz and entertainment, you have to be very, very specific about this. So I want you to know up front that this is not a real interview with me and Jay-Z. But if I were to do a quick interview, it would go a little something like this. Jigga, Mr. Z, Jay-Z, hey, I'm so excited. I get to meet you and I know you're so busy. Let me just ask you a couple of questions so I can take it to the fire starters on License to Live podcast and let them hear from one of the greatest out there exactly what they should do. So you're a highly successful individual. I mean, you said it in your own lyrics. You've created billionaires. You're a billionaire yourself. Your wife's a billionaire. You've created several other billionaires through your development and the things that you can do. I mean, you're up there like Oprah. You wave that magic wand and get it going. But when you reach that ultimate level of success and you finally made it, like you have, what are the perils of success and what should you be looking out for?
Yo, when success floods in, look for the snakes to wash in too. You get mad. No matter how much you make, a momentary loss of control puts your life on the line and the lives of everyone who depends on you. It can cost a fortune to recover.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you got to watch those snakes. I mean, that's major, Jay. Well, listen, let me get one more question in before you go. I appreciate your time today. I know you got to hop on the jet and get the heck out of here, but sometimes things don't always go your way. But how does it feel to recover from a loss?
Satisfied is how it feels to rebuild your baller lifestyle after a run-in.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, Jay-Z, for your time. Thank you for coming on License to Live and continued much success. I hope even just some of your success rubs off on me. I've certainly learned a lot from you. And here's a copy of License to Live. Yeah, it would go something like that. I mean, I actually did have to shop around for a couple of voice actors before I did find one that did actually sound like Jay-Z, not rapping, but Jay-Z talking. So, man, I learned a lot through this process, but I probably did this back in 2017 when I was trying to get the podcast together. And I never found a good place to use these assets because, well, I didn't want to get sued by Jay-Z, Rock Nation, The Rock. I didn't want people showing up at my doorstep, all that kind of stuff. So you know the deal. So I just left it alone. So, hey, I'm glad you guys came along with me for this little journey, this little interview that I always wanted to do with Jay-Z. And, well, from now, we can just move on into the rest of the show. And this show has to do with some other rappers that are out there. Recently, in Philadelphia, there's a open amphitheater, has a big yard, has a pavilion where you can be undercover if the weather is bad, and it's just across the river in Camden, New Jersey. And I happened to go there not that long ago and saw Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, and a number of other people perform on that stage. And it was a great performance. I was figuring just to kind of bumper along to some of the old songs that Snoop did and a lot of his music kind of coming up. But it turned out to really drive home a few learning points that I learned from attending this concert and things that you can add into your own career. And think about it if you were someone who may be a budding podcaster, someone who may be a speaker, someone who is an expert, someone who finds themselves in front of a lecture podium quite often. There are lessons that I learned from Snoop Dogg himself that will help you get along. So I'm going to get through a few of these lists right after we finish thanking our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarret's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarret.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
Make sure you are reaching out to me at drjarret.com. We'll get your free strategy session. I love talking to new people. I love helping people troubleshoot and getting a strategy to change their life, change their career today. So don't wait. Reach out to me. So there's a few things I learned from this concert. Now, one thing was, we were talking about Canadian wildfires and all the haze that is in the air on the East Coast from these wildfires that are so far away. Let me just say, I don't think the Canadian wildfires were causing the haze at this conference, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, let me tell you a few things about Snoop Dogg and what he did during his performance that makes you think about the things you may do in your next performance. I mean, first of all, Snoop Dogg has been in the game for a very long time. He is a very well-known individual. He's facially recognizable. If you see a picture of him, you'll see him in commercials. You'll see him all of these things. But if you think about where he came from and where he started kind of in the LA gang scene. I mean, he is definitely gang affiliated. He doesn't shy away from that. But he started making music to make a different life for himself. So I'll come back to the gang affiliation later, but let's look at the work that he put out there. He put out content after content after content. And in his way, it was songs, music videos, and things to get people started. And he grew a following. So, there was a time when even Snoop was running around and nobody heard of Snoop. Nobody knew, but he had his big break. And all of a sudden he launched on the scene with Dr. Dre, and Snoop was a new legend himself. But he has kind of represented and stayed true to himself a lot about his own culture, whether it being the West Coast hip hop culture, whether it be the cannabis culture, whether it be maybe even some of the things that he brings in from his gang days. A lot of these things all have built Snoop up to what you see now, where he's getting paid, 6, 7, who knows how many figures to do commercials for big brands like Corona. He does shows with big figures like Martha Stewart. And you guys all know my Martha Stewart story about some of the things she told me. And I'm sure I covered it in another episode. So you got to go back and check that out. But Snoop has really made his self into a very recognizable figure. So he'll do collaborations. So partnership is another thing besides content production. He'll do collaborations and he'll work with other artists. He'll work with other people. He'll work with other brands to help build his own brand and build up the brands in which he's associated with. I mean, Snoop Dogg has made so much music with so many different people. I actually forgot about all these popular songs that he made. There were great radio hits as he was performing them. So having that teamwork and collaboration is very, very important. Now, the big thing that I want you to take out of this show is that, well, Snoop came to entertain. And so he had a great stage set. He had an old Chevy Impala on the stage. He had, a lot of the things that he represents going on. And he won't be afraid to sit up there and dance or do a little crip walk out there for you guys to keep the crowd going, because he's engaging with everybody, whether you're in the front of the concert hall and you're getting eye-to-eye looks with him, or you're all the way back in the yard just vibing out to the thing. He is making all of this happen in this time. So again, it's about a performance. It's about entertainment. It's about him building his brand, and he may do it with the help of others. And I've talked about that, and you'll have to read my blog on that too, because that is an important strategy for you to remember as you are working for a big brand right now. You can help use that big brand to build your own brand, and vice versa. But we looked at all of the production, the lights, the effort, the timing, him bringing his friends up to the stage, like Wiz Khalifa. That's somebody else I've met in Pittsburgh a couple of times. And he's a nice, very nice guy, but he likes to make music too. And, when you get two people who love music, who love to share some of these common cultural things, they get themselves together and create an even better show. So you're building upon both the collaborations and camaraderie that comes along with these type of events, but you're also focused on your job. And so you're focused on your timing. You're focused on the lights. You're, concerned about what the sound guy is doing, but it makes it all look so easy. I mean, people have said that to me before. They say, every year you put on License to Live, show after show after show, and they are incredible shows. And more people need to know about these shows. And I said, yes, thank you. More people need to know how great License to Live is. But it is a lot of work putting this together when you're looking at the lights, the details, the sound, the video, getting the speakers in line, and creating a cohesive message that people can build themselves up on and build themselves forward and move to those next steps. Man, it's a lot of work, but I have fun when I'm doing it. And I could tell that Snoop and Wiz, they were having a blast when they were hanging out on stage together, and they were doing it as well. By the way, if you want to see License to Live 2023, just go to licenselive.com. You can catch the replay and you can see how great of a show it is. But, at the end of the day, when you look at Snoop, when you look at Wiz Khalifa, and you see these people who are performing, and the same can be said for Taylor Swift, Beyonce, all these people who are having big concerts over the thing. Think about this. Before they became billionaires and before they became superstars, before they became household names, they had to start somewhere. Just like I had to start somewhere, just like you have to start somewhere. And it's about building, and about building upon what you've done, building upon what you've done before that, building upon what you've done before that. And you continue to take small steps in progress. So of course, today somebody will look at Snoop and say, my goodness, he is such a fantastic person. But they did not look at the 20, maybe 25 years, maybe 30 years that he had to put in to reach that level. People think it's overnight success, and it's not overnight success. And in fact, in my newest book that is coming out, still working on some of these publishing deals, looking at the VIP lifestyle, we talk exactly about that in this book. And we're talking about the VIP lifestyle, what that means to you, why it's not lifestyles of the rich and famous, like Robin Leach used to say, but why it's about building your life into a better life. And Snoop, Wiz, Jay-Z, all of these people have shown us how to do it. We just have to follow along, have the faith and perseverance to push through the bad times, celebrate the good times, and your life will continue to rise and rise and rise. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And while you're there, hey, let me know what you want to hear about on this show. Let me know what we can do to improve the show. And hey, if you hear anything about Rock Nation trying to sue me about my Jay-Z interview, tell them I told you it was not a real interview. If you want to hang out with me until the next episode releases, find me on social media. Hit me up at Dr. Jarret. Spell out the word Dr. J-A-2-R-E-1-T. And we'll see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarret's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.